Greetings to Occultists Anonymous and our Into the West Mage Chronicle Into the West, one of those. Glad to have you back. Sorry we missed a week. We have had a month. We'll just put it that way. It has been a time. We have at least two people sitting in new places to give you an idea. So yeah, stuff has been going on, but we're back. We missed y'all. We missed each other. Like that was all.
Yes.
We literally just were chatting for the past like half hour just to catch up with one another. But now we're back, and our characters get to catch back up with one another. But before we do that, thank you to our patrons. And I'm going to pause here. Hey, patrons. I need to also send a notice to you, but if you're happening to watch this video, and also for anybody else who needs to know, if you are currently using Patreon through your iOS app, please unsubscribe. Unsubscribe, go to the website and subscribe there, because you are potentially about to get charged 30% extra, or Apple is just going to take 30% of your Patreon funds for themselves because you subscribed and set up through the iOS app. So just a heads up on that. Please go change. Apple doesn't need any portion of this. They're not doing anything for you. Please change.
Yep. For us, for anyone else.
I just want to draw a line under that. It's like people are making money and we want some of it. We're not going to do anything for it. We're just going to take it.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably if you're doing it through Google Play Store version of the app, it's probably good to just go ahead and do that too.
Yep. Just go on to
history has shown
patreon.com.
that they do the same thing as Apple, just with like a 2 to 3 month delay. So
yep. So yeah,
but you feel better about it.
Yeah. But yes, so that's your PSA for our patrons and patrons of other folks out there. Please go update. So yeah. But and thank you to our patrons: Adele, Alis, Aiden, Al, Alexander, Allstrit, Bernie, Brick, Buck, Chris, Doc, Emil. Brick was in all caps, by the way. Emil, Ethan, Jeff, George, James, Camo, Cat Feathers, Klaus, Leroy Jenkins. Thank you. Michael, Milo V3, Moku, Mozart D Minor, Nexus, Nick, Other Guy, Perry, Foog, Polka Dot, Hubris, Porter, Puppeteer, Riafio, Sean, Shexora, Starfish, Terry Double D, I'm married. Thomas, Verhex, Vincent, Vortex, and Zoltan. Congratulations on your marriage. That's very cool. And thank you for deciding that this is how you wanted to let people know. I'm actually kind of touched. So yes, thank you for that. When we last left the Cabal, they had kind of split up because, well, Chris was out 1 week, and then we couldn't play, and so then I was like, oh, we'll play with Chris, and we had a Chris episode, and the party got completely split. They have seen each other's episodes at this point, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
But, yeah, the characters returned back. 3 of them coming back from speaking with Rael and the Liberators, or Liberator. I only met the one. And our home, and back in Purgatory Bluff when Petrichor is nowhere to be found and ends up flying in late that night.
Cooking.
Actually, bear in mind, it's Petrichor is nowhere to be found. Jose the Horsey is nowhere to be found. Jose shows up without Petrichor.
Well, you know what we do.
I mean, I think I expressed that Isabel would leave a little. We talked about a little answering machine in the head of. There's
that, and also Catherine. Catherine is there. Catherine can be like, "Oh yeah,
yeah, this is what happened."
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess as y'all come to the consciousness, there's sort of a thought waiting for you of like, we've got a problem. We've had visitors come to see us and mess with our territory in ways that skirt the line of being hostile.
You feel like a vibration, like a weird astral vibration coming from Legba.
Mm-hmm.
Some like there's a thought rumbling in his astral chest, and he's calming himself.
I like it. To make this a little bit easier, we do fast forward here. So the folks who teleported back can quickly kind of do mundane things, check in with stuff. Theo has a chance to catch up with Catherine and talk about some of the studies that Catherine has done and learned a little bit more about the idea of why mages don't just throw magic around everywhere, which was very fun to discuss.
Yeah, that was a fun scene.
Yeah,
especially
awesome.
Especially considering Theo's daemon. Like there's this very important lesson I learned, and somewhere inside of Baba Sarah,
I'm not listening.
Hubris is a coward's word. Blah 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 blah.
Preach it. Sorry, silver ladder showing up there. So yeah, you all have a chance to kind of reconvene, and when Petrichor finally swoops in, you'll have a chance to chat, because that'll be a little bit easier than leaving astral messages and asking Catherine and stuff like that. So
speak for yourself.
It's true. In my mind, this probably happens at the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
That
sounds good.
Yep. Who goes first?
Legba is restraining himself. He has things to say. He has learned it's more productive if he waits to listen.
I think Petrichor would just start to fill the silence and talk about her ride out on the plains and her flight, and the seeming ploy to get the town, specifically Ike, to blame theft of cattle on our neighbors, and how tracking the scent of wolves that could reconstruct a fence turned into the scent of men who ran the cattle for a long distance and then off a cliff.
So, did you have a sense that they were trying to cover their tracks? Or was this a more overt message to us?
I think it was a message for us to be discovered, but also if they caused trouble in the meantime, because they led the cattle basically directly next to the camp.
They led it through the camp. So mundane following of the trail. If the
straight to our
if
our
the
neighbors.
cowboys could have found the trail and followed it.
So they didn't move against us directly.
Right.
They
Which they know about.
transgressed.
We'll get to that. But that's they know
Perfect
about
response.
protections we've placed over the town.
Yeah, I mean, they likely can show up outside it and take a gander and figure it out. Take a Yorman gander.
So
a trigander.
I think it's safe to assume that this group isn't going to be acting with a singular motivation. So they did the mundane trail to sow discord into the town and distract us with trying to keep that, but also, I think, as a veiled threat against people we consider allies.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this was important.
Warning is delivered by those haughty who believe themselves above you. This is foolishness. This is hubris.
I don't know that it's hubris. It could be just a way to try and dissuade something from taking their attention from things that they consider more important.
I think that considering my travels in Metropolis, if they know who we are, not to suggest that I would necessarily be the best target of a message, but if they wished to avoid being distracted without encroaching, they could have merely sent a message saying, cease in your efforts to find us, or there will be consequences.
I think
But
it's
that
more
gives
of a
us-
message.
Go ahead.
I think it's more of a message saying that we're not as safe as you might think. Our protections aren't perfect. They know of ways around them.
And also sending a message in this way lets our imaginations kick in to think of all the other ways that they might come at us as a way to instill fear. If they just delivered a message to you directly, they don't get that benefit. But this way, theoretically, we would distract ourselves even further.
That is wherein I believe they're acting from a position of hubris. It is the assumption that we would necessarily be distracted by these things, led astray, not be able to. And then Legba smirks and he says, think or walk in two planes at the same time. We are no novices. They believe that we are country mages. Without the sum total of the wisdom we have acquired painstakingly through our experience.
Well, we are, I think, safe to say, fairly learned in our areas of interest. But one area where they definitely have an advantage over us is that we are not war mages. We haven't been brought up in a culture of conflict.
Yeah.
Well, present company accepted. We don't have a lot of experience in that culture of warfare.
I'm sure Helena is over here like cracking her knuckles. She's like,
Mhm.
yes, come on over.
She moves. Perhaps she was leaning back on her heels and moves onto the balls of her feet. Where Legba used to do all the time.
I will actually bring up, since thank you for reminding me. Helena, several of your wards that you have placed to alert you, keep things kind of keep things stable. I was going to say status quo, but more like keep things from drastically changing or anything like that. Several of them have been, I won't say torn apart, but more like somebody squeezed through the gaps. Yeah, they were not outright destroyed, which, I mean, that's a standard dispelling where it's just like, yeah, that's not happening right now. I'm just going to walk past it. So yeah, like there's telltale signs, and the signature nimbus for them batches that of what Petrichor had found of oh my god, Trigander, if I remember correctly.
Legba says, well, perhaps only one of us in the coven is trained in the ways of war. But you needn't come from a long, formal academic tradition to be trained in the ways of knowledge and even sabotage. Our meeting with Rael, and then Legba turns to Petrichor, says, was fruitful. We learned a great deal, and Rael and his compatriots sacrificed their own wisdom to acquire firmly held information about the serpents. Suffice it to say, if we wish, we could dive right into the serpent's nest. would be a foolish move. However, they are vulnerable in that we have information about them that they have tried to keep hidden.
Well, to be fair, you don't have that information yet. Because
Okay, fair enough. Sorry.
he's going to collect.
Then let me rephrase that. Then Legba says, Rael has offered that information to us in the event that our partnership proves mutually beneficial. I propose thinking of the Serpent's actions here in Purgatory Bluff as saber rattling. And we should first consider if we wish to reinforce our defenses or go on the offense.
Just throwing this out there for food for thought. The Serpents have presumably resources from their wider organizations that they can draw upon, and we do not. One possible response to all of this might be a closer association with the Diamond Order. Oh, sorry, does the Diamond Order exist at this point in time?
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Yes.
pentacle that
The
does
diamond
Yeah,
orders.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that. I do think we need more allies. Because I don't believe that 4 of us are suited to go to war against these.
Catherine kind of pipes up 5. Yeah, I know. Helena's like, nah.
Absolutely not.
Legba says, we, of course, defer to your experience and expertise. I will make the point that grand empires have fallen to the might and gristle of people in chains. So even though we are few, we are yet mighty if we employ our abilities in the right way. And then Legba inclines a head nod at Petrichor and says, I'd like to believe that they have nothing like your gun.
No, they will
I know
have
the Seers,
other tools.
Yeah.
And
I'd like to believe.
I would like to temper your comment a little in that we have knowledge and we have skills and certainly command a fair bit of power. In an environment such as this, though, I think that our power is untested.
Babasira's David is screaming, yes! Let me loose!
Legba says, well, we can test that. We can call up Guinea once again and see what it would be like if we were to confront the serpents. It needn't be merely an academic consideration. We could do this with no consequences. Well, other than perhaps the pain and suffering. But isn't that really a benefit? And then he smiles, right? Like Mastigos looks around at everybody. Yep.
Yeah, learn from your suffering.
Or just get.
When that Pentacle spy was living among us, some of the information they gave us was that the different pyramids, sections, whatever within the Seers don't really get along. They fight with each other as much as they fight with anyone else.
Sure. But we know for a fact that this group seems to transcend above that pettiness.
Or what I was getting at was that there might be ways to exploit those natural fractures in the spheres to weaken their position. I'm not sure how we would go about that, but that might be some investigations that we could do, perhaps astrally or otherwise.
They
To see
are
if- Go ahead.
they are greedy and petty and selfish. So it is possible to find others that aren't of their group who would like to see them toppled.
They're spoken of as monsters and boogeymen of the night. To get someone to betray that sort of force, you must give them something that they need. Do we feel that we have things that different parts of the greater Sears organizations will want or need? I'm not so sure.
Legba says, I was once a boogeyman. And it is true. What you fear most is the loss of power. But someone stronger or more determined will come along. And they will want your success more than you. What often led to conflicts among us were rumors. So you develop a certain paranoia when you traffic in intimidation and brutality. You're constantly looking for sources of a threat to your power and your ability to browbeat people. So it might not be the case that we presently, among the 5 of us, have specific resources that the serpents would do something foolish in order to obtain. However, because of our unique placement and our unique experience in working our will, I think we do have ways of getting things that they might not be able to get. Getting things that certain people wouldn't share with us if we were members of a formal order.
Think that's a good spot for us to pin this and shift into a more out of character discussion of what you guys might want to do next. We have one thing in the astral left to do if you want to pursue. I will go ahead.
The doggies.
Correct. The doggies, which I will go ahead and let you know is what will lead you to an encounter with Sir Lucan.
Yeah.
Because that's the trail that you're going to end up finding. Or if there's some other direction y'all want to go, and like I said, switch this into a more out of character thing, because in character and out of character doesn't always match up to what the players might want.
Is there a way to replay my post-cognition that I saw?
That would just be a perfect recall from
Yeah.
In a way that Cloak would be able to examine where they went.
Oh no. Because post-cognition allows you to view stuff as if you were there.
We've studied in post-cognition before.
Yeah. What if I used Mind and Prime?
We haven't scrutinized, but we've been able to use Mage Shape before.
Correct. So
okay.
Yeah.
I misunderstood.
Yeah, and because the idea is like if you were there right then, what we would actually want to do is fly out there and post cognition. But yeah, so yeah, sure. that is an option of going back and seeing, and at that point you can probably, because it's been a short enough time period that we could still scrutinize as long as y'all left right now, because that we were talking about that. Oh yeah, it's been 7 days or 6 days, and 1 week was the cutoff.
Right.
So yes, there is the option to follow the trail
Cool.
physically, and see if you can
You mean
locate
teleport.
Yep. To see where that may have led. So that's another option as
You
well.
can
Yep.
Teleport there because my Nimbus should still be on the area from the postcognition, and I have a connection.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep. That is the like advanced mage. That's mage 401. It's like, actually you
just
cast a spell there, so I'm
here
gonna
so I
pass
can come
this.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what is it? I think it's channeling a point of mana to just leave your signature Nimbus on a thing.
Yep.
So yeah,
That would be just because
Remember,
that's
that's
such a pressing time limit of like literally do it today or not.
Yeah. I think we should
that
do
would
that.
be my suggestion, just to have that knowledge of and like try and figure out where they went after this and
Yeah, let's do that.
what clue
Sounds
that
good.
is.
I think it's a great idea. Drew, remember that's what Legba was doing with the chain links. He put his signature Nimbus on all the chain links from those 5, so he could keep tabs on them. But he wasn't careful enough with bands or space wards, and somebody got taken again.
Yep. And I appreciate chat going, whatever happened to him? It was resolved. Sometime in the past 10 years, it was resolved. I don't know what you want from me. It's a whole story that we just didn't pursue. That's what happened.
We just hope they left him alone after the second time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's when the
Maybe they
post-series
learned their
wrapped up
lesson.
extras.
Yeah. We saved your life twice. Now don't get abducted by wizards again, okay?
Through no fault of your own.
Exactly.
So yeah, unless Craig, you want to throw like a veto for some reason on that. It sounded like everybody was on board with that idea.
No, that's fine.
Cool. So yeah, we go from the inside of the sheriff's office, and Catherine going, nope, going to bed. This late night thing, I can't do this.
Not yet.
Yep. The 4 of you zap, with basically 1-2 punch spell from Legba, and are now next to a set of, well, you're down there. Oh no, that's true. Yeah, you would be up top. Yeah.
From above.
Yeah. Why would you go down to the? Yep.
We can be among the carcasses if you want.
Yep. Yeah, because that's what I was like, oh, the smell, but no, that's true. They teleported from up top. Yep. So yeah, you're suddenly there in the middle of the night, and it's absolutely pitch dark. And this is one of those
that doesn't
things.
matter to me.
Correct. And actually,
Sarah's got a lantern. Come
yes.
on.
But also because of the nature of Mage Sight, like there's actually quite a bit of stuff, and you like in my head, this is the thing I was going for. We have an Avengers moment, right, where everybody has the ability to see or turn on Mage Sight for free, and we have everybody with their path seeing things differently. And yeah, oh, it's dark. Yeah, that's fine. I see beyond that. I can see all these other things. And yeah, technically I'm taking a -2 to perception rolls, but that's fine. I see like Daredevil, and yeah, it's just this other vision.
There's just like a little shot of Petrichor looking around, and then she blinks, and then when she opens her eyes back up, she's got like big ass panther eyes.
Oh, cool! Yeah, awesome.
I'm just turning on night vision because I have that as one of my praxis.
Yeah,
I love it. And then yeah, as we said, Baba Sarah's like, I have a lantern. It glows blue. It's cool. Yes.
And I can have a Tapetum lucidum.
Shiny.
It's super cool.
So yes, I'm not even going to ask you to roll scrutiny because it's a teleport spell. Like you get a lot of that. The issue here is when trying to see the destination, because you see it in terms of the sympathetic connection that the caster had. The one thing I will mention at this point is this is a new Nimbus. Whoever cast the teleport, it was not Trigander casting the teleport.
Didn't figure it was.
Right. And it doesn't appear that the caster was here. To put it another way, it's as if somebody cast.
That's a yoink.
Chief O'Brien.
There we go. Yep.
Got Chief O'Brien.
Yes.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, we got him. Chief O'Brien.
It's a Star Trek reference. Sorry.
Chief Keef. What?
No.
Chief Keef. That's a dated reference.
Don't worry, I've got them, Captain.
Hilarious.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So you are definitely on the like far end of the teleport, though technically with another point of reach, you could teleport somebody from there to somewhere else entirely and not not be. You would just be in the middle. But in this particular case, yes.
Create a Mastigos with a shadow named Dispatch.
No.
All he does.
But yes, the sympathetic connection. Yeah.
That's true.
The sympathetic connection that you're basically able to pull on is kind of irritating and not super useful in the fact that it's the boss and everything around the boss. Cool. So so whoever cast it was
the boss.
Well, was subservient to.
Okay.
There is an astral, not astral, signature nimbus that you also collect up. I don't know what it is. I legit didn't even think of like, oh yeah, let's just track by teleport. I'm like, that's smart.
Mr. Mastigos over here running the game.
I know.
I didn't think the Mastigos would Mastigo this.
Once you have announced that you have it, I'll just ask if you wish to pull him here.
Oh. That'll be a shots fired moment.
And then just like points at the ground with her gun and just says, about right here.
He then strokes his chin and he says, I'm glad I wasn't the only one who thought that we might have to do something like that.
I feel like we might want a little more information before we
open
active hostilities.
Legba holds up a hand and says,
Legba has a thing,
Yes, Legba holds up a hand and says, please remember that I have become a witch of restraint. And above all else, there are great consequences to me losing my wisdom. I have foreseen it. So, yes, I'm not suddenly going to drop within the four of us someone we haven't seen, we don't know anything about. I'm merely commenting on the fact that Petrichor and I are of like mind quite quickly. I find that delightful. And then he says, before we do anything like that, we could also send a warning shot through teleportation. I mean, I could open up a small hole and Petrichor could blast off a few lightning bolts and they'd fly across the gap and strike a wall near wherever this person is. I mean, there's lots of stuff we could do. However, if we are to teleport anyone, we teleport them into a pocket dimension that we are in, not here. We teleport them somewhere else that we could get out of. We'd seal them inside of multiple pocket dimensions so that they couldn't easily escape. And then we could just collapse the pocket dimensions and they'd be rendered into nothingness. I mean, if I was going to use some kind of... Anyway, he realizes he's gone on a tangent.
This like feral snarl that comes out of Petrichor, like almost unwittingly. It's like, that wouldn't be fun.
He says, I agree. Forget I said it. Let me make a different point. First, there is information yet that was here. Legba says, or Drew, Ralph, I am going to say, Legba wants to try and gain some information from the past about how much space the individuals took up. What their dimensions were in space. He wants to know how tall they were, how heavy they were, things like that.
Sure. Yeah,
because I
think that because the nature of the spell was to grab the subjects.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it takes a minute because you're reading it in supernal symbols, and it's like,
Yeah.
now I have to convert, carry the 3, but yeah, and
God
especially
damn,
with space.
I can't believe that the real true unit of measurement is a fucking cubit.
That's great. Hilarious. Because any detective work, right? Like getting basic information about someone is useful. So, and Legba believes that might also be useful for our sheriff. So, then Legba says, he says also, I now remember that the coyotes, or he says the dogs shared with me news of predator spore. It might be useful to get some sense from where they were before. If you have any of that might be something we could make into a composite that we could actually share with others and have them help us look for these people. What I mean is, the thing that we have, I'll reinforce what I believe the true value of our lack of membership in these orders is. We are implicitly more trustworthy because many other nameless mages, he wouldn't say nameless actually, he's many other mages who don't belong to these oppressive organizations don't have any specific reason to suspect that we'd be interested in suborning them, controlling them. And so if we offer freely information so that they might be aware of potential threats, might be a way to undermine our adversaries.
To keep this moving, you guys can collect knowledge. That's we don't need to role play and dialogue that stuff.
All right, awesome. It's my bias here. So.
What is the actions that we may want to take? Because we can teleport them here. Though I will mention that will be teleporting the Mastigos who cast a spell. Yep.
The subordinate.
Yep.
It's like you fucked with something of ours, so we'll. Yeah.
Yep. So.
To be fair, they're probably very replaceable.
It do be like that this year's.
I don't know that they would mind us messing with this one as much as they bothered us.
I mean, I'll go ask him some questions before I blasted him with lightning.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wasn't imagining sort of a Looper situation.
It's an underappreciated movie, I think.
It's great.
Yeah, it's good movie.
It's grotesque as well, but yeah, it's good.
So all in favor of we're gonna yoink this guy here and ask him some questions.
And before we do that, Legba would also ask Petrichor to try and anticipate what the consequences might be of us doing that.
Sure. We accelerate to a combative state of existence more quickly.
I mean, in the arcane sense. You would ask to cast a spell. Oh, okay, cool. Got you. All
right. So does let's see here. I gotta remember how much fate do you have? No, wait, time. Time do it?
What's divination?
Is it fate 1?
Yep, and I think you need fate 2, time 2 in order to.
No, time 1 for divination.
Cool.
Yeah, will such and such happen? Yeah.
It would also want to know good or bad, right? Is this a good move?
Mm-hmm. That I think is the.
Yeah, it should just like
wheel
flip
or
the
roll.
coin in the air. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Ooh, I like that.
Excellent.
And it's a coin yantra. Look at that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So
can I just for a moment? You just talked about the coin. For a while I've had an image in my head of Sheriff Isabel walking around town and somebody trying to settle a dispute with a coin flip that she believes isn't fair, and then the coin flipping up, and once it reaches its apogee, it gets shot out of the air by a bullet, and then the camera pans to her walking up, like holstering it, and being like, "That's not how we do things here."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's about right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Vibes
Yes.
correctly assessed.
Fantastic.
So you I really like the idea of like, hey, what, are there major negative consequences, like,
Yes.
flip the coin through the air and kind of, reading it, very, reading the entrails kind of thing. The coin like flips, and obviously it's here in the dark, but it flashes, you see the moon, moonlight on it and stuff like that, and ting 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 as it oh wow, I was thinking falling off the cliff, but yes, your read is like, this is definitely gonna like step things up from, like, man, I can't remember, is it DEFCON 4 to DEFCON 3? Like, things will definitely get a little
lower
bit
numbers are more, right?
Yeah. It's like it'll definitely step things up, but not in a like holy crap and it's not it doesn't give you one-upmanship vibes, more of eye for an eye kind of thing, like snatching him. Now, if you summarily execute him and stuff like that, there's some other things that would come into play then, but yeah, for right now, just yoinking a mage and being like, come back over here and explain yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask for a bit of help from Helena, from Max, to cast a gravity spell, and essentially just a column of just like big potency increased gravity.
Ooh, yeah.
And
so you summon him in, and
he just sort of plump.
Not quite crushed.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so good.
Yeah, like it's like 3 or 4 G's, right?
Yeah.
I can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Can you put some wind in there too, so it looks like he's in a fighter jet with the windshield off, and it's like cheeks are fluttering? Like,
you want to be able to understand him.
All right,
true.
fair enough.
He needs to be able to
I'm
talk.
trying to be silly here.
Yeah.
We can understand universal language.
Yeah.
It won't matter. All right, I'm done. I'll be serious.
So everybody enjoys the sound of that setup.
There is one more element. Legbert's going to detach this place from everything around it.
Sure. Create a band around it.
And create a band around it. And then let's see, not a contingency, but he is also going to, this is something I've been thinking about for a while, so this is going to be an improvised spell on his part. He's going to create a what I'd call kind of an encryption portal. So this is what I'm thinking, Drew. He's trying to teleport somebody here. He's going to create let's say an ephemeral teleportation spot in the pocket dimension through which it goes. So he goes from one place, he gets teleported to a spot that then winks out of existence when he's teleported here. So they could assume he's teleported here. But as though I'm teleporting him, they're not going to know where he got teleported, because his final destination is here, but the initial destination from which I'm finally teleporting
I
him.
appreciate what you are wanting to do here, but I'm going to say no.
Yeah. No? What? It's like a 2-spot teleport. I'm just like eliminating the pocket dimension.
I get the idea what you're going with, but for me, that is cutting out a little bit of the potential consequences for teleporting. If this is something... Yeah, I love the idea, especially as a space mage. I'm like, yes, so you can't track and you can't. Yes, I totally get the idea, but yeah, for me, that's just gonna be that step a little too far in like the quick spell that we're working here. If there was like if there was something like I don't know, we'd have to think about it, but like having a pocket dimension that is warded up and like cloaked and stuff like that like is left open but you would have to go make that, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then he'll make that. Now, I understand he can't make it now.
Right.
So,
but no, I like that.
I received the feedback. So
that's the good.
I'm happy to talk about it in more detail.
Having your back pocket kind of stuff that I do like. But yeah, right now, no.
Okay. Fair enough. No worries.
Yeah. So you yoink. Actually, do me a favor, because I almost forgot.
Yes.
I need you to roll a Clash of Wills.
Naturally. Now, as a master, I, of course, cast my teleport spells, and he wants this to work and is going to assume that there's some kind of protection. So he's going to be casting it at indefinite duration.
Okay, sure.
Advanced potency.
Just for the bonus for the
for the Clash of Wills, yeah.
Advanced potency too.
+1
Yep, exactly.
to Clash of Wills. And because it's +1 Clash of Wills and +2 to dispelling, and it's done that way. But yes, same irritation I have with duration being a bonus that you add to like something like this that's instantaneous, just to have a better Clash of Wills. It's some of the gamification, but it makes sense. And yeah, like this is how we make a spell stronger.
Okay, let's see.
So
I got that. Good. I'm adding willpower plus those bonuses. I think that's a total of 8 dice.
Oh, to cast a spell. I was like, for the Clash of Wills, I think you would have. Well. Exceptional success would be. Man, it's been a minute since we cast a spell. Wouldn't actually affect the Clash of Wills. Okay, so the spell does go
any
off.
like words protection or anything like that?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, could buy
stands or whatever.
That's true. Yeah. So actually, we can slap that in there. We bypass any words and signs, and then clash against the ward itself. Man, remember? Yeah, rolling dice, man. Okay.
So now I roll against the clash, or
the one thing. Let's see, advanced duration. Yeah, so we're not even overreaching because it's advanced duration and instant.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yes. Roll thy clash.
Cool. This is space +5.
Good. Better. Well, excuse me. Yours is better. Just for clarification. Podcast folks, that's sense. 7 successes versus 5. I know it's been a little bit since we actually had dice thrown around. Yeah. So, you have going from a standing position to a suddenly on all fours, as suddenly his entire body feels heavier. A late 50s, I guess, we'll say Englishman. I think you guys can tell the difference in terms of attire. And he looks well-to-do. And also looks like he was in his he's in his jammies. Well, actually, no.
Excellent.
You guys would be in your jammies, so
it's like early morning.
Yeah.
If you're coming from England.
Yep.
Holding a teacup, maybe
7 or 8 hours ahead of us. So yeah, like 9 a.m. maybe.
Yep. So yeah, actually, he is properly dressed. We're properly dressed Victorian suit kind of thing, and drops and is looking around. He does not look necessarily bewildered so much as quickly trying to determine what to do next. But then stops as he looks up and sees a revolver pointed at his head.
Yeah. Good evening.
Morning.
Not here.
So, pull the trigger.
Oh no. I have some questions for you.
The longer I live, the longer I stand here, the faster.
He's not standing.
Dude, does Helena
The longer I lay here
interrupt
struggling
him?
to breathe.
Does Helena interrupt and remind him that he is not standing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And which
She's standing with her fucking sword out, almost assuredly too.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very close. Point of the sword.
At the edge of your spell. Yeah.
Yeah.
And kind of, looking, and we're gonna just swing for the fences with this guy. He's like, 1, 2, 3 women. Yeah.
His odds of leaving this encounter alive
He does not say
fell off a
this,
cliff.
but you definitely he recognizes, and it's just, the longer I am here, and yes, he is struggling, but he does, 3 times, gravity, yes, that's a lot of weight, but he's not crushed to the ground. He is struggling. You can see his arms shaking.
I think most people would struggle
to the ground.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's not
3
moving.
Gs?
3 Gs is like your body's now pushing up four times the weight it's used to.
Yeah, it would be 4 times. Yeah, I was thinking twice, but yeah, you're right.
I don't know about you, but I'd have a hard time standing up with 600 additional pounds on top of me.
Yeah. Yeah, my math fail. But yes, he is like I said, he's on all 4s. He's not crushed flat.
Right.
Give him a minute.
Exactly.
It's very tempted to sort of just
kick his
flex the gravity field when he's just just make it press down a little harder.
Right. But yeah, so he's struggling. But yeah, actually I think he cuts off the longer I'm here.
Yeah. The longer you're here, you're what?
He just stops talking.
Okay. We have questions about your boss. Do you want to answer them or do you want to die?
I might need a roll.
I'm certainly willing to as well.
Yep. Pum, 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 pum. Let's see here.
Oh, geez. Wait a minute. I'm trying to think about this. Legba's. We didn't talk about this ahead of time. I think, Drew, you need to let me know. Legba's condition.
Mm-hmm.
About how he foresees violence as a consequence of the experience in the Tempest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're good.
I feel like is
because you have not gone straight to violence. You've brought him here, but he's also Mastigos, who, when you are done talking, he can take himself home. Right? You have not undone somebody or in any way.
Okay.
Isabel. Let's get I would imagine that this is probably going to be more of a persuasion thing than intimidation.
Yep.
You have
very
more,
much so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Legba is the intimidator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when he's not, doesn't seem like he wants to talk. Helena's just looking at Legba because I imagine he's the one who'll make him talk.
Potentially.
Yeah, he'll make him talk.
And she'll leverage herself with sympathetic.
Mm-hmm.
Crack a couple doors open on it too.
Yep.
And, squats down and gets like her nose is right on the edge of the field.
You feel your nose come down. Mm-hmm. It's okay, back it up a little bit.
That's pretty cool.
I really just want to ask you a couple questions. I will kill you. I want you to be understanding of that. But your folks don't seem to be the type that would die for a cause like that. Not the ones at your level, right? You got 3 successes.
I like it. Yeah. Yeah, between the doors and leveraging, because that you take a condition?
I take a condition, yeah.
And yeah, he kind of looks and like I think he gets a read and kind of looks over at Helena. Like real
if
hard
we
to
just
speak.
wanted to kill you, it wouldn't be me in your face.
But yeah, does Helena step the gravity back?
No.
So he kind of looks and then looks back to Isabel and goes, what?
Just want to know a little bit more about your boss.
It's so good.
I have an elephant on my back.
You're not big enough for it to be an elephant. It's a couple goats, maybe.
I would back it off ever so slightly.
Yeah. Enough for him to notice.
Yeah. He continues in a breathy way. I'm not going to try and keep doing that because that's going to be irritating to listen to. What do you want to know?
Just need to know a little bit about him. What he's up to. Why he felt the need to drive some perfectly good cattle off a cliff. Why he'd want to blame our indigenous neighbors and try and cause a commotion in our community. Now, you might know that I already know some of these answers, but I want you to hear them, or I want to hear them from your lips.
I don't know why she does anything.
Eee. You work for her, and yet you were surprised to see that 3 of us were women.
Let's say I've come to dislike women in power over me.
Yeah. It takes the right sort of man to appreciate it.
Legless smiles.
Are you attached to the serpents?
I am a serpent.
Part of the pylon.
Yes.
Great. Good to know.
And Craig, because you were making a face, Craig, podcast folks. Yeah, remember, this is like any of the people beneath the heads are also going to call themselves serpents.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was time reserved for like the 5.
I mean, it's kind of like, you know, the Queen of England is England, but also everybody in, you know, yeah.
We are England. Legwason's Petchcore very brief message through telepathy saying, please make a gander pun again. Now, he wouldn't be surprised if she ignores it for the sake of the context, but, you know, once he says he's a serpent,
Mhm.
amused.
You're not one of the 5.
No.
But which one do you work for?
Trigander.
Out of character, Trigander, we have speculated to be a.
You at this point have a good idea that she's probably a Theosis, just because a lot of what you have seen has been life and spirit.
Right.
She's the one who called up the fire spirits.
Right.
She's the one who.
Yeah, it's been a little while. I was trying to make sure I had it right.
And that's the other thing. I'm trying to remember what you all have uncovered. And she's also the one who, if here was probably doing the shapeshifting.
Yeah, makes sense.
And she had the signature nimbus of broken materials, rotten roots, shriveled leaves, and animal spore.
Right.
Yeah.
Lot of, hi, I'm a mass egos.
Mass
Nope.
ego?
Theosis.
Hi, Greg.
Show the boy.
I did already, but I will grab him
You
again.
have to say, do it again.
The podcast debut of Greg, the Muppet.
Oh,
Mhm.
good old Greg the Muppet.
Yep. Very much Glenn's cousin. Appreciate it.
He's half
Very good
Lincoln.
boy.
He weighs 16 pounds.
Ooh.
He's large. And he spent half the day in the closet today because we didn't notice he got stuck in there.
Oh no.
Was just looking for him and then was like, wait, hold on.
We have
There
checked
are that many
almost all the
rooms.
doors. Yeah.
And then he just meowed ever so pathetically. He got out of the closet and got some attention. Other people can feel free to jump in on questions. I don't know exactly what to say here.
Fair enough.
Can I get Drew? I just want to float something past you. How do you feel about a ruling practice, improvised spell to force truth?
I mean, forcing truth?
Like to make him only able to speak truth.
Okay, that's a
Sort
classic.
of a words of truth kind of as a ruling instead of the...
Yeah, but it's also going to be very similar to the D&D equivalent, wherein he just doesn't
You
speak.
choose not to answer yes, but if he speaks, then it's going to be truth. Okay.
Yep. So you have that option, or just Pierce Deception, so you can tell if he's lying. Because Pierce Deception has no clash of wills, unless he has some spell on him that allows him to obscure it.
What are the current goals of the serpents?
Oh, Pierce Deception.
I do not know.
Like glance over my shoulder at any
Yep.
of the people that have Prime
Yep.
or Mind or anything.
He doesn't know what their
Okay.
goals are. Very much he is given orders and does them.
Oh,
Where
he's gonna
did
get
you
red.
Send her?
Hmm?
Where did you send her?
Oh, I legit did not understand the question for a second.
Yeah.
No. He says, home. London.
And then is there a cool cinematic moment where Petrichor turns back and Legba looks at her?
Yes.
Yes, awesome. So
Wait, is this something I've been meant to
wait
put
a minute.
together?
he immediately does he does an improvised prime perfect recall
Mm-hmm.
to see if there's any element of what they perceived about this woman before that would remind them of all of this. I know we didn't have her signature nimbus and stuff like that.
No.
Okay.
It's not the
Not-
blonde that we met before.
Not the same
Okay,
woman.
Damn,
No.
He would
that
just
would have been
yeah.
so cool
was-
though.
It would have
Because
been
I was
super
meant
cool.
to just sort of goes whoop and
Yeah,
turn
yeah.
myself into her.
Yep. That would have been awesome.
Like she look a little something like this.
I will remind you that woman cast teleport and co-locate spells.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, fair enough.
All right, Drew.
We gotta be excited.
If you don't want to loop back on a plot line from episode 10 or some shit,
I 100% am. You just don't know yet.
I see.
Fair enough.
But yes, there is this. Yes, this goes all the way back to episode 3.
It's so good. It's so good.
Great.
I mean, if I'm just saying, if you want to, put on that disguise real quick, you're still welcome to.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, it's an awesome idea.
Yeah, she just sort of like does the sort of just like
you
pass
just
her face
adjust
over.
your face.
Yeah. You know anybody that looks like this?
His eyes widen. Doesn't say anything.
What's her name?
I don't know.
I doubt somebody would get away with that as a shadow name.
I do not know her name, and you can see how like he is smiling so wide because he's leaning in on, I don't know her name.
What do you know her as?
Like rolling his eyes.
And ain't not a one of us here in Acanthus. We don't got to play those games.
She's Hatragonder.
Hatragonder. Oh, okay. Okay.
Was that so hard?
The serpents seem like they want to play some games with us, right? So we let you return back home. You're not going to be in trouble for telling us about her.
I think he won't remember that he told us about her.
Okay. That's wild. and undercuts my current argument, but
I mean, we can arrange it so that he doesn't remember.
They sent a message to us.
Yeah.
Are you so opposed to us sending a message back?
I mean, that would be a message in itself, right?
Sure. My point being, the more we know about each other, the more likely this is to get off to a bit more confrontational sort of existence. Now I myself fancy that to be enjoyable, good sport. You English feel that way, don't you? You like a good sport, don't you? And she's just like
she grits it up. He just makes just like the nostrils wrinkle up.
She's still got this other woman's face on too. Hip hip cheerio and all that, right?
Jesus Christ. He just disgusted expression on his face.
Legba then decides to chime in and says, I think there's value in him returning, knowing what has happened.
Yeah.
He nods.
And Legba then very quickly cast no nature. I know everything about this guy. No clash there. Gonna log that away. Gonna perceive all of his connections.
That's
no clash
a
there.
lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fine. He's gonna log it away.
Well, more specifically,
potency.
I was to say potency is going to be a problem for you.
All right, we'll see.
Hang on. Is it not?
If he takes
Yeah, for every
2.
level of potency, learns one of the oldest subjects. So you can select quite a few, yes,
Okay,
but
fair
not
enough.
all. But yes.
Fair enough. Then he will cast a spell 3 times. The same potency he could get to successfully cast in order to attempt to glean a
Would it
little
not
more.
return with
Just going
the
to
same
Oh, maybe
result?
it's just
because
the same.
it's the
That's
oldest
fine.
ones.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Let's
But
move
yeah,
on.
you get
That's fine.
you get a handful of connections.
But there are reach adders that allow you to chain. If you don't want those, you can.
Right.
But I'm just going to move on and say, Drew, please select some ones that are interesting for like
Oh, yeah.
proceed for the sake of the narrative, because that's what I'm
that's
actually interested in.
Yeah,
So
I
I
know
don't
what you
need to
meant.
declare a certain amount.
You want
Yes.
to rattle off a couple more gander names for me there?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah, because if those alone, would they come up?
Oh no, that's me asking him.
Oh, excuse me. Okay. Yeah, yeah. He rolls his eyes. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, let's go ahead
She'll
and
go back to her face.
yeah, let's name off the serpents.
Mhm.
Giptugander, Ottergander, Helgander, Megangander, and Tragander.
Megan the gander.
So for our purposes, drop these into Roll20.
Write them down so I can see
Yep.
what you actually just said.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Do. And I'm including Sandgander. You already know that one, but
Mhm.
What was that?
Sandgander is the one that the Liberators
You got iced.
found.
Oh, nice.
And to remind y'all, Sandgander had been kicked out,
Mm-hmm.
and the Liberators found them.
They told Sandgander to pound sand.
Got him.
So yeah, Hotchergander is the woman that y'all, I guess, sort of tangled with
Encountered.
way back when.
Encountered.
Oh,
More
Lego
than a
put her in a
decade ago.
headlock.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She's
Yep.
seen the same gun.
They
He put her
teleported
in a
into
full
her
Nelson.
house.
Yeah, followed her.
Yeah, technically followed her
Upstarts.
through her co-locate.
Her office, right?
That's right. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
You were,
And then
you
slowly
were
released it, you can get
you were
back.
in a you were in a warehouse, kind of
Yep.
upper level. Followed it through and into her office. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and
Over
yes,
at
you have a
gunpoint.
brick.
Put her in a full Nelson. And yeah, we got a brick right in the alley outside.
Mhm.
I'm so
Or whatever
pissed we got out of
distance
that
you
shit.
specified. It was, I know, right?
Yeah,
Wild.
yeah.
What was that?
was so good.
I'm still amazed we got out of that shit.
It was so good.
It was
like
one
it
of
was
those
so
things
good.
of you should be dead, but that's a really poor way to start the campaign.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's more interesting
I had to
think of the
change-
reasons why they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, and I had to change up a few notes, but now we're here.
Yeah.
I think it's only rational that a seer in their home base would say, "These are not just chuckle fucks. This is something big going on."
Advanced chuckle
And then
fuckery.
realizing we're actually chuckle fucks.
Yeah.
That's right. They
Yeah,
did
like,
this.
they actually
Oh.
were no one.
Actually,
Yeah.
we're idiots. Gnosis 1? You
No
got
one
to
would
be
just
kidding
find
me.
me on accident. This must be a major plot. I better be careful. Yeah.
It was so good. We just didn't care. We're used to scrapping.
Okay. Anybody else got questions for him?
Yeah. So, like, I'm going to rattle off another thing that Legba wanted to proceed before he talks to this guy very briefly. Legba wants to see if there are any spells on this guy, any artifacts, anything of arcane significance.
I will mention, no, he does not appear to have imbued items or artifacts on him, but
Mhm.
there are several items that stand out as important yantras.
Cool. Great. Perceive any signature nimbus attached to those.
His own.
Great. Yeah. So, like, just let it be known. Legba wants to know what his signature nimbus is.
Well, you already have that. That's how you
Oh,
got
that's
him
right,
here.
from the teleport spell. Perfect.
Yeah.
Never mind. Fair enough. Yep. We had the sympathetic connection to his signature nimbus that allowed us to rip him here. Fair enough. Never mind. Then Legba would ask, having known his nature, you don't need to tell all of this to me now, right, Drew? But
Mhm.
this is part of why Legba wanted to know it, because we're going right back into tactics from the Tonton Makut. So Legba gets down on the ground wherever his face is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at this point, he's probably prone.
Yeah. And gets in a position with his eyes really wide and starts breathing into his face. And then says, "What would you do to have what you want?"
I think he growls at you and says anything.
Hmm. Hmm. Can I hold you to your word?
No.
Two truths, yet not in contradiction. And he exhales in his face again. And he says, "Have you always been a pawn? Or were you once a king?"
I think he actually grins. He says, I am a king.
A king dominated by a queen you hate.
He shifts, and especially because Queen Victoria right now is in power and she's
Mhm.
kind of beloved. But so he kind of grins.
Well,
and
he's
s-
not referencing her.
I
know it makes
know.
sense that he would interpret, yes.
Right.
But just his
But he's kind of
misogyny.
amused. Well, he's kind of
Mhm.
amused at that, and he says, an empress.
Hmm.
Actually, I think he says, hang on here. Yeah, an empress and a monarch.
Mhm.
I will
Helena's
remind
fully
y'all.
rolling her eyes.
Well,
Yeah.
for Helena, especially because you've dealt with this, for them, it might be more of a memory test if they can remember. The monarch is one of the exarchs at this time.
Ah, cool.
Is a name for the father?
Let me double check. Exarchs of 1847, technically 1857 now. Monarch is of spirit. Father is still father.
Got it.
Father was still Hohenheim, creating the homunculi. That's not Hohenheim, but anyway. Legba nods and keeps looking, unblinking at him, and then he says, He Legba smacks his lips a bunch, and he says, "What part of your body are you willing to leave behind?"
Thank you, Chris. He grins at you and says, "Want my arm?"
You would leave an arm?
Sure. Take it as a trophy.
Don't traffic in body parts. It's merely a question. Word of advice. No one stays where they want to be in a hierarchy forever. The Ouroboros is a symbol of knowledge. But what happens when the snake succeeds and eats itself? What becomes of it? Where does it go? I hope you find happiness. Maybe gets up.
Anybody else? Head shakes, head shakes, head shakes. So do you send him back?
Yep. That's polite.
Well, and because one of the things I was thinking about was a teleport spell that has duration.
Yep.
It's like, you know what? Never mind. Send him back along the same path. I'll have to think about that for the future, but for now, that's fun. And drop him.
Yeah.
Drop him
Legba
back.
would like to deliver him as he was taken. So he's prone right here. If there's a way for Legba to shift him,
Shift him in. So he goes from lying prone to suddenly standing up like this.
However he was, yes. Yeah.
I dig that. And sent back to, jolly old London. The little depression in the dirt, like an inch or so of crushed sear.
Grass and all that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that went well.
Like the info dumps everybody through mind, all the things he acquired in the course of watching this guy.
So
just that he's not the only one who has it.
About your potency. So the one thing, because I didn't want to get sidetracked with this.
No worries.
Is you get a handful of sympathetic connections. This guy's Mastigos. He cuts. He cuts connections off frequently and remakes them as necessary.
Makes sense.
The few that you do have are like home, though what that exactly is, you're not sure, right? Because it's the way the boss and the various serpents whose names you have, and what would be else that he would actually maintain? A few
Legacy.
yes, but I don't know what that legacy might actually be. It's the Tempestari. It's really weird. Mastigos joined the Tempestari. Petrichor says, "Well, I'm gonna solve that right now." But yeah, there is some legacy. And everything is a very codified, intentional connection with very little information. So shadow names for the serpents, home. I think probably literally just work. Very, very much a Mastigos who is very careful. Right. Sanitize. That's a very good. So you have them, you know what they are. You didn't necessarily copy them. But
I don't want them. So when it is narratively relevant, please inform me of anything about this guy's aspirations. Flegma knows, especially from his work with the Donto Makut, right? You give somebody a reason to turn on the people that they've sworn loyalty to.
Yep.
So
yeah, no, I saw where you're going with that, and I was like, meta-wise, narratively, between his aspirations and obsessions, this guy is all in. This guy is not low down on the pylons. I mean, throw over to his Clash of Wills, which technically y'all don't as characters know. He's got some Gnosis and Arcana to throw around.
yeah, totally.
But aspirations of things like, well, actually, the foremost aspiration he had in his head it was get out of here alive. There is a obsession that, actually, for you would have been the first time seeing an obsession like this that it doesn't feel personal.
Oh, cool!
It feels like something.
Oh, it's imposed. Yes, it's exarchal.
It
awesome.
Is. Yes.
Fantastic.
So, and it's
like
I have the idea of like giving people obsessions and telling them, and even did stuff with Catherine, if I remember correctly, and now it was like, oh, this thing is weird. And has this iron seal on it. So yes, you kidnapped a prelate.
Great.
Awesome. We're stepping up our game.
Yeah. Again, even trade.
Yep.
fuck with our shit. We're gonna fuck with your shit. Yeah. They killed some cows. You terrorized a guy.
There was no terror.
No,
a little bit of terror.
Yeah,
these Mastigos is fun. It's fun times.
Physical discomfort.
Physical discomfort. Yeah.
I think I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think if Legba were to be suddenly joined into a situation just like this with seers present and holding guns and things, I think there might be a little bit of terror going on.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe there might be a kind of zeal.
Yep, I was going to say, like, ooh, a new challenge. Yeah, I know. Mastigos are messed up that way.
I see.
Much depends on if he would.
I see. I built myself up, got to the top of Sophia so I could fall all the way down like a meteor.
What was that, Ash?
I was saying, I feel like it would be like, might not be particularly frightening if he doesn't actually consider us threats. But.
Well, I will say from his perspective, you all are less scary than his bosses.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Like, what can you do that they couldn't? Right. Yeah, it would suck to die right now, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He wasn't going to die.
No.
He wasn't going to die.
No, I don't think any of you really had that thought. The gun is there as a don't move kind of situation.
Oh, I mean, we could trap him somewhere. I mean, like, if we were really going to be horrible, right, there'd just be, he's trapped in a pocket dimension and he can't be found, and he's just, all kinds of terrible things are happening.
I mean, he'd get out, right?
Yep. Mastigos. Yeah, there's some stuff that you could do. Yoink his soul out. We've done that before in the rookery, but yeah.
Classic move.
I don't want you to spell casted. Give me your soul.
Your soul is mine.
Thank you. So with that, perhaps not even, well, actually, maybe intentionally doing it. Snap of the fingers, and we're back at Purgatory Bluff. And yes, well armed. Well, not necessarily well armed, but having names goes a long way. Having a face, which I will point out. It is very likely that Hotragonder was one of the faces that Jeremiah saw.
Yep.
Though, of course, those weren't faces. You
Yeah,
know, they were
wasn't really
obscured.
seeing them.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
yeah, if somebody had messed with his mind, probably was the one that can also teleport.
When we get back to the town, I'll ask Cloak if he's got that brick on hand.
So
Yes.
somewhere in the caves.
Mm-hmm. He says, I hid it in the mines.
Okay.
I'll retrieve it. Actually, no, he says, I'll copy the connection.
I just want to make sure they don't have good weather today.
Mm, I can do
Sure.
that for you.
Sure.
He goes and copies the connection.
Calling card them a fucked up storm
That's great.
in the area. I mean, who knows if they're still there, but
What he's going to do is he's going to open up a scrying window, very tiny, there, and use a little bit of space magic to, like, you know, do a wiggling little perception thing. And then once he can see that he's determined that it's the coast is clear in the alley or wherever he is, he's going to then open it a little so that it will function as a window through which Petrichor can remote cast a spell up into the sky.
Nope. Just need a place to breathe.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Yes. Oh,
Don't even
fantastic. I forgot. Yes, that's
Don't
the legacy
even
attainment. Awesome.
care if the coast is
cool.
clear.
Oh, awesome. Okay, great. Perfect.
Yeah. So some poor day workers are going about their day, and this black cloud, which, to be fair, Victorian era London. Yeah.
It's already fucked.
Yep. And just pooh. Yeah. In like where are we? August. You give them something like really, really cold, like icy rain and stuff like that.
Just one of like October, like Halloween thunderstorms where it's like it's cold enough that it sucks, but it's still like got some of that energy of a summer storm.
Ooh, yeah, like that.
Also, talking about Halloween, as Perry mentioned in chat elsewhere, hey, it's 69 days till Halloween.
Nice.
Ooh.
I knew somebody wouldn't let me down.
Nice.
I think that is actually probably a good spot for us to pause.
Okay.
And that'll leave us with some actions that we can jump into next time. Because usually I'm really bad about having you have something to do when we jump back in next time. Yeah, we can make some further attempts. We may hear back from Rael. Hint, hint, we will. We still have the
doggy time.
Dogs, the astral to look into. Yes. Right now, basically, as you may have surmised, we're into the Zelda game part of the story, wherein there are 5 folks to track down, investigate, take a look at, and see how they operate, and get information from them and figure out what they're doing. And I will kind of be above board here. The whole thing here is investigate to your heart's content, so long as you do not overly annoy the serpents or make them believe that you are actually a threat that needs to be dealt with. Because yes, as we mentioned, yes, plucky little folks can do a whole lot against a big empire, but if
they can also just squash us.
Correct.
Yes.
So there's going to be some fun balancing act there to play with, I think. That's my hope, at least. As we continue there, and as mentioned in passing at the front, I imagine the front of the episode, that we will also see the Coven work on collecting up and officializing alliances and allies that can engage. We already have Okome, who's pretty much on board. Probably want to officialize. What was the word I'm looking for here? But yeah, make it official. Document it. Yeah, cement it. Yep.
Building up our own little free council.
Correct. Because that
You're
is
probably
the
looking for
direction
the
we're
word
headed.
formalize.
Formalize. Yep. Yeah, I was over here. I was thinking of. Oh, now I can't think of the other word where you have notarized. I was like, yeah, that's sort of the thing. But yes, that is where we will probably have the cabal headed. We should be, very, very, very on the clock. Because obviously they are up to something with this this engine, and probably want to figure out what it is and what they're doing.
Figure out what they're building.
Yep. Before they turn it on. When are they going to turn it on? Yes.
If we'll mention it.
Yeah. I do have
I'm going to drain all the oil.
So it seizes up. Yeah. I do have a date on the calendar for when the engine turns on, and I am adjusting as actions are made, major plot points, milestones, stuff like that. If the engine does turn on, that is not the end of the Chronicle. It is unlikely that you will be able to turn it off, but then we can start playing with the consequences of the engine being on, and maybe it becomes a fight to control the engine. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes.
Father Sarah's Damon.
Yep.
Love the sound of that.
Yep.
I told you we should be ready.
So, cool. Yeah.
Let me, Drew, tell you things that Legba is thinking about, so you can consider it for the sake of future plot. In terms of alliances, I know we can detail this later, but now that I'm thinking, I'll just say very briefly
and tease the audience. Sure.
Yeah, there you go. So the reason why Legba wanted a bunch of information about this stuff, and Legba was referencing the Haitian fight for liberation, despite what happened afterwards in Haiti and was still happening in the Chronicle in Haiti, right? Legba has come to recognize that the big problem with the Seers, and really their big source of their big resources, is the people they exploit. And Legba believes that the advantage that we have as mages is through Akomi and our own efforts, we could actually start assembling a number of indigenous people, local groups, in a wider span that likely have already been exploited in really important ways by the Seers, but they've been not saying anything about it because of the fact that they're not going to get any help from anyone, right? Like indigenous people in the U.S. at this time clearly aren't going to be able to rely on any resources government-wise, right? They're getting exterminated. All kinds of horrible things are happening, right? So it's not like they're also going to be able to appeal to the diamond. They don't trust them, right? So they're in a situation where they're hyper vulnerable, and they've certainly been exploited by the Seers. So Legba's thinking, we talk to them, we assemble all this information, and we say, let's liberate you as well. Let's do that, and then you can help us stop what they're doing.
Yep. We yeah. It is time to gather the party. Find allies. There's a couple of other entities out there that I think you all have forgotten about or just hadn't thought of yet. So we'll get into some of that too. But
we'll see. Metropolis shenanigans for sure.
Yeah, that's a big hub. So yeah. Thank you all for joining us. Glad to be back. It's been a minute since I've done this. Oh yes, join us on Discord, www.yeetinto.space. And if you want to support us on Patreon, please go to the website and not the iOS app, www.staylucky.club. And yeah, again, big shout out if you are on Patreon for anything, please make sure to switch your subscription over to the website and not through the app. You can still use the app, just set the subscription up on the website. Otherwise, you are going to either get charged more or whoever you are wanting to support is going to get less, depending on how they adjust it. So, come by Discord, though. Chat with us, hang out with us, tell us what you think about the episodes, give us your fan theories, what is going to happen next, or tell us about your stories. So with that, Catch y'all next time.
Everybody.
Adios.